published? Yes, you do, okay. And in terms of our roll call, we'll note that all commissioners are present. And Mr. Hirschfield, has the work of the assessor been completed?
Mr. President, Commissioners, at this time it has not. We have corrections to approximately 50 parcels as well as the addition of about 10 others.
Okay. Well, if the work hasn't been completed, then at some point during this meeting, we will go as far as we can, and then we will recess and resume this meeting on May 21st, right prior to the scheduled City Commission meeting. So at this time, Mr. Hirschfield, I believe you do have a presentation that you'd like to make. We'll do that first.
That is correct. Thank you, Mr. President. With so much activity going on in our dynamic market, I thought I would just kind of run through a couple of our market segments and give everybody an idea of just the activity that we do have going on. This slide here shows us our vacant lot sales on a total sale price value basis, starting back from 2006 and going through current sales in 2012 that were available. Every vacant land classification is increasing, some at quicker rates than others are. And as we can see over time here in 2012, the lot values have gotten a lot closer together than what they were in 2006. You know, buyers are just really doesn't care to them any longer what part of town it is in. Just lots available, they want to purchase it to build on. That's how active our market is. Those four lines represent four different location areas. The purple line on top would be our, like States Avenue would be in that group. And of course, you know, they kind of had the highest lot values over there, while the lower line would be in maybe the older parts of town. And you know, in 2006 you can get a lot for a little more than $5,000. Can't do that any longer. The second slide shows the same data. This is just on a per square foot basis, and again showing pretty well the same thing. Our price per square foot has gotten a lot tighter than it was in 2006. Last year we'd shown you split level homes as well as ranch style homes. I did that again this year. Our chart on the left side there is split level homes built prior to the year 2000. The chart on the right are newer homes built after the year 2000 and later. We show the average sale price of these homes, the average year built, price per square foot, the amount of GLA or gross living area in the homes, and then the number of sales during each of those time periods. As you can see, our number of sales are relatively constant on the older homes, ranging between 53 and 71 sales a year. A nice active market that gives a lot of data to scrutinize. In the newer homes, we see that our number of sales have been increasing, being 24 and 19 in 2008 and 9, and then increasing to over 30 sales, to almost 40 sales of these new homes. This here's the graph of that prior data for the newer homes. The price per, the actual sale price is the blue line on top. Sale prices just continue to go higher, while the red line, it's increasing as well. It just isn't increasing as rapidly as some of the other market segments are. I think having been about $89 in 2008 and now $99 on a per square foot basis. We'll go ahead and look at our older homes. And we see that our increase in sales prices on a total sale price as well as on a dollars per square foot basis are increasing at a much higher rate than what the new construction is. My hypothesis on this is the buyers are wanting a house now, and if they qualify for it, they're willing to bid those properties up to whatever it takes to get that home bought. These are one-level or ranch-style houses, again, from 2000 and on, the newer construction, and then prior to the year 2000. Similar data shown here is for the number of sales, also shows GLA. And to graph that out, the newer homes, we see a little bit of an increase between 2009 2010. 2011 sales, there's on a per square foot basis was the same as 2010. I don't want to say that the cost to build a house is down. I think what we have is a lower quality house coming in, more manufactured homes, and a greater variety of qualities available. And overall, that's kind of kept the prices down, although cost to construct itself and the actual sale prices have gone up. On our older homes, they're just unbelievable, the amount of growth that we've seen in that value segment. We're at $153 per square foot currently on an older home, and $165 on a new home. Very, very little difference. And go to my final slide here, and it shows the same thing when they broke these out on an age basis in a 25-year segments is where I tried to do. Have 2000 and above is a purple line on top, 75 to 2000 the green line, and on down to that bottom line, which is 1925 to 1949. There are homes selling that were built prior to 1925. There just isn't enough of them to give consistent flow to the data. I grouped them in with the 1925 to 1949 age homes there. In 2008, the spread between those lines is what would be depreciation. And we see now in 2011 going into 2012, there's just very little depreciation. People are buying a home based on what's available and if they qualify. That's the extent of my slideshow tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hirschfeld. Are there any comments or questions for the city assessor? Now, on this agenda item, you have an attachment there labeled Parcels to Change. Can you explain that?
Yes, with all the activity going on, we had a clerical error, miscommunication in our office. We didn't think we were going to get to change the land values on our larger lot parcels. Some of those did get changed, and then I went ahead and increased all of the ones that had structures on them again. So we kind of hit some of those people twice. We need to correct for that. And also the vacant lots had been, and still currently are, in as a lump sum basis. The lump sum adjustments do not change when I make a table adjustment. I was not aware of that prior, so you learn something every day. That was something I learned that day. So we have approximately 50 parcels here that we need to do a correction of value on. Be a decrease to some of the homes that we had overvalued, and there'll be an increase to some of the vacant lots. I'd show the 2011 values. The 2012 true and full preliminary values is the appraised value that we put on those for this 2012 valuation, the incorrect one. The third column next to that was the change that I am proposing that we make to those values. And then after that is the corrected true and full. And that should be the accurate value then that the taxes should be based from. And then the final one is the percent increase based off the corrected land value. And that, if you go ahead and keep the changes that I brought before you here, if it's in excess of 25%, I need to send out another notification. That final one shows the percent change, and the parcels that a notification will need to be sent out to.
Okay, so what would what's the motion that you're looking for?
I would like to see the board this evening, Mr. President, go ahead and accept the corrected values as I've presented them here before you.
Okay. And Mr. Colling, would it be appropriate for us to act on this prior to the public comment period?
I believe, Mr. President, you would want to take public comments on this prior to your vote on confirming the assessment rules.
Okay, so we should go through the public comment, and if it's unaffected by public comment, then we can come back to this. Okay. All right, is there anything else, Mr. Hirschfield?
Not at this time, Mr. President.
Any comments or questions from commissioners? Okay, then, if not, at this time, we would open the public comment period. Anybody that has questions or concerns about their assessed value, if you think it's wrong, you can come to the podium, state your name, and we'll hear your comments. So, comment period is open.
My name is Bertie Pravatsky, and I have been discussing, some of the issues that he has talked about to you today, so that's why I came to the meeting, because I wanted to make sure that they were addressed, but I'm hoping that, some of the comments that I may make will make sense to you with what he's changing. And I wanted to discuss the land valuations regarding our property taxes, because when we received our new 2012 assessment, the letter stated I could go on the website and I could look, but it only showed for 2011, so I couldn't really compare how ours were going up compared to everyone else's in our neighborhood or the entire city for that matter. And so, in talking to the assessor, was informed that they were going up based on the sales within the city, of course. I understand that. But I couldn't really, find out how they arrived at the figures. And I was, questioning about lots, because I feel that developers are purchasing lots, and obviously that's what you're basing your prices on, is lots that are being purchased. And that's setting the precedent. But in researching, I felt that these lots were not being valued higher, but yet the landowners, the people adjacent to the lots, are getting an increase. Their homes are getting increased, but the value of the lots was not immediately getting increased. And in the past, I noticed that the value of the lot very seldom got increased until a home was put on the lot, and at that time, then it went up. But sometimes the neighbors would get increased, and yet the vacant lot owner would sit there with hardly a very fair assessment. But I thought that was the precedence. They set the precedence by selling the lots at that price. So I didn't feel that was really a fair thing, and I talked to the assessor about that. And I also talked to him because we're in a neighborhood that has larger lots, and there's lots that range from 5 acres to 0.75 acres. And, I thought maybe you could just figure out per square foot how much are we being assessed, because we're all in the same neighborhood. But it really wasn't working out that way. And so I wasn't really satisfied that we were being assessed fairly compared to someone next door to us, or across the street from us, or down the street from us. And so I was just basically trying to understand how the process really worked. And I still think there needs some work to be done on that, because if I own a lot that's 0.75 acres and my, neighbor owns a lot that's 1 point some acres, I'm not really sure how they arrive at how we should be assessed. Because we are neighbors, we're in the same neighborhood, our land value should be fair, I think, fairly assessed. I wasn't complaining about home values, I was just complaining about land values. And so I just wanted to point those things out. I'm not really sure if what he's suggested that he's making changes about are the things that I tried to point out, and I believe they probably are. But I still wanted to voice my opinion that these things were concerning me, and I didn't feel they were really had been done fairly in the past. I don't know going forward if they're going to be done in a more fair way. I hope that they will be. that's all I really wanted to say about it right now.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me, but is your land on this list that we were just
I don't know.
looking at? You don't know?
I don't know because I don't have a copy of that list, so
Okay.
I don't know.
Mr. President, it is,
It is?
yes.
Okay, and is it one that's going up or going down?
It will be going down slightly.
Okay. And, you know, for Mrs. Pravatsky's benefit and the commission and anybody that watches this meeting, can you just give us a quick explanation of the process in terms of how land gets developed? Is this undeveloped land that you're talking about, or is it developed land?
She's actually my neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Lives directly to the west of me.
Okay. So is it undeveloped land or?
No, it's a developed land. They have a very nice house and a very nice
Okay,
yard.
so it's developed land, all right. Okay, all right, Mr. Herschel, why don't you explain the process to us?
The process in valuing any property, you start with your land cost. We look at the vacant lot sales that have happened throughout the city of Dickinson. We break it down into several strata, location, size, many different things, including, are all the utilities in, and streets and everything. Are the lots fully developed? Generally, these larger lots, there's a little more to those than there are to a typical neighborhood 7,000 to 10,000 square foot lot. I mean, they sell for what they do, just about peas in a pod. This one sells for that, the next one, unless it's a corner lot. These larger lots are a little bit different, and we look at what the market tells us. Everything's based off the market. And we see some of the lots, the larger lots, the 5 acres that Mrs. Pravatsky was talking about, being subdivided or split into smaller parcels. Generally, most of those are being sold off at right at an acre, slightly less, maybe slightly more, but that acre's just about catches most of those. On our larger lot values, we value them, that first acre, at the same rate, and I did change that to, I think it was around $37,000. Market was showing 40. My tables don't currently have a 40,000, so I dropped it down just a little bit. From there, you look at the excess land. Not everybody wants to have to mow 5 acres. They don't have time for that, so maybe 1 acre is what I want to work with on the weekend. 5 acres is too much, and that's typically the typical market reaction. So the lots in excess of, or the lots in excess of 1 acre, but be it 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, those excess acreage generally bring a little bit less money back. And we have discounted those lots to around, I think it was $12,500 for additional acreage. And I went ahead and made the changes that I presented to you based off of that. All the lots, the first acres at 1 rate, additional acreage at the second rate, including the vacant lots. Now, vacant lots oftentimes are discounted again to about half value. That's due to the fact that they're not stubbed in with water or sewer, and they just don't have the value that your fully developed lot does. And so all the vacant lots that do not have any development at this time are half of the value of what everything else is, which is quite a bit more than what they were at a lump sum. They were at, maybe 5 or 10% of what the full value was. We've corrected for that.
Does the process take into account how the lots are zoned to, for example, if they're zoned for R3 versus R1?
They do. That's part of the stratifying. You stratified for a use as well.
Okay.
I would not take an R3 lot that was about to be developed for apartments and then try and compare what that per acreage cost is, or per square foot, or whatever I'm using, back to a residential lot. That would not be an apple-to-apple comparison.
Right, okay. Well, thank you for that explanation. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the commission?
Hi, my name is Kyle Thiel, and I was just wondering if these proposed changes, we received the initial notification if our property, if our assessed value was going to be above, I believe it was 25% or above 10%. So, and you've mentioned that some are going to be changed. Do we have access to that information about, whether it's being changed from that initial notification that we received?
If you received a notice the first time, we will send out another notice.
Okay. So, but the changes that apparently they have that we don't have, I mean, are we able to see those if ours has been changed? Is that just going to be voted on tonight without us first seeing that, or?
Yes, they will, if they accept my proposal to make those changes, then we would send out another notice. You will be given, if you receive that notice and want to contest it, you will be able to come back when we reconvene
Okay.
and contest it again at that time.
Okay,
And that's on May 21st, right?
Yes.
okay. I just wanted to make sure. And also, the other concern that I have, our property is located near the Har River. We actually live in the floodplain. Our home kind of falls under that 100-year-old home that you showed that is just experiencing, pretty explosive growth in terms of the value because, as you stated, people are just saying, I don't care, I just need a place to live, I don't want to be paying the rent. So we kind of, we've fallen into that category, but our property, I mean, we are in the floodplain, we're paying already through the nose on flood insurance on that. So, I mean, I feel that our property, I mean, we bought kind of this depressed home in a depressed area for the sake of trying to revitalize it. We're definitely not there yet. So I'm just wondering if, in addition to the zoning, are you also factoring in, being, the area that it's in, like being in a FEMA hazard zone or something like that?
That is also taken into consideration. We, again, another one of the Stratus properties in a similar location with similar influences.
Okay. I think that was about all I had for now.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else like to address this? Anybody else? Okay, well, we'll close the public hearing part then. And so, Mr. Colling, we could take action now on those parcels to change where we would accept, if we vote in the affirmative, we could accept the corrected values and then the notices would be sent.
That's correct, Mr. President, yes.
Okay. So, on your tablets, it's under agenda item number 2, where it says parcels to change. Those are the parcels that we're talking about. There's about a page and a third of them, I think. So would there be a motion to accept these corrected values?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
All these we're talking about with this motion, though, are going to get another notification, correct?
They will get a notification if they are in excess of 25% or if they'd received a notification previously.
Okay.
If they didn't fall into the 10% or greater before, and there were a couple that where maybe had a 5% increase and now they're a 5% decrease, there's no need to send that
Okay.
notification
Okay.
out.
Makes sense.
Okay, other discussion? Okay, we have the motion and the second. If there's no other discussion, we'll vote. Mr. Jackson?
Aye.
Mr. Frenzel?
Aye.
Mr. Altman?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries. So, we would be down, actually, I think, to item 5 here, which are properties to add. Now, you have some properties that you would like us to add to the rolls.
Mr. President, Commissioners, that is correct. Following the, when we sent the notice out previously, we had some deed changes come across. There were some annexation properties as well as some city sales of vacant lots. And there were also a change to St. Joseph's Hospital. They had 3 houses that were needed to be placed on the tax rolls as well. I went ahead and inspected those and have a value for those, and have reflected those values before you here. And if we just, I would have you pass a motion then to accept the values as I have presented them.
Well, you heard Mr. Hirschfield's report. Do you have any comments or questions? If not, would there be a motion then to accept his recommendation and add these to the tax roll?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have the motion and the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Frenzel?
Aye.
Mr. Altman?
Aye.
Mr. Jackson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. So the motion carries. At that point, I think we have gone as far as we can go with this meeting.
I believe that to be correct, Mr. President.
So, Mr. Colleen, do we need a motion to recess until, I would say 3:30 on 5/21, or can I just declare that?
Mr. President, the state statute allows you to adjourn from time to time until the work of the assessment and Board of Equalization is completed. Would recommend you do a motion to so adjourn and set the meeting for the 21st.
I would think if we met at 3:30 on the 21st, our regular meeting time is 4:30, an hour would give us time to complete the rest of this meeting. So that would be my recommendation. You know, we can start at 3 o'clock and that would be, I think, very prudent, but it's up to you as commissioners.
I'll make the motion to adjourn and reconvene 3:30 on the 21st.
Is there a
Second.
second? We have the motion and the second. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote then. Mr. Jackson?
Aye.
Mr. Altman?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Frenzel?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The motion carries. So we will adjourn then until 3:30 on May 21st. And